Ksoo's father is just an ambush and brutally beaten by gang affiliates allegedly tied to his own son's crew, just months after he made headlines for testifying against Ksoo in a murder case that shocked the streets. And now, it looks like the past has come back with a vengeance. This is a story of betrayal, street code, survival, and the dangerous cost of breaking silence in the underworld of Jacksonville, Florida. What just happened to Ksoo's father isn't just street justice. It's a ticking time bomb exploding in real time. And the scars left behind, physically and emotionally, might be impossible to heal. Please do not forget to like this video, share, and subscribe to this channel if you want more updates like this. Thank you. Let's get back into the video. Now, let's rewind for a second, because to understand why this ambush even happened, we got to break down one of the most controversial betrayals in modern rap and street history. So let's talk about Abdul Robinson Sr., better known now across the internet as Ksoo's dad who snitched. A former street figure himself, Abdul raised his sons in and around the Jacksonville trenches, where the line between survival and savagery was razor thin. His son, Ksoo, born Hakeem Robinson, wasn't just any kid growing up in the streets. He was a rising name in the local rap scene and allegedly a frontline member of ATK, a crew suspected in a string of violent incidents across the city. Ksoo didn't just rap about the streets. He allegedly lived them. His music, riddled with disrespectful lyrics about dead rivals and claims of violent deeds, wasn't just art imitating life. It was practically self-incrimination on a beat. But when the law came knocking, it wasn't Ksoo's lyrics that did him in. It was his father. In one of the most shocking developments to come out of the Jacksonville rap wars, Abdul Robinson Sr. decided to cooperate with the state, testifying against his own son in a murder case connected to the killings of Charles McCormick and Adrian Gaynor, known in the streets as Bibby. The internet exploded. Fans were stunned. The streets went silent, and then loud all over again. The news was brutal. A father flipping on his son? In the eyes of the streets, that wasn't just betrayal. It was blasphemy. The unwritten code of the block had been violated, and no amount of logic or morality could shield Abdul from the consequences. Now at the time, Ksoo, already locked up and fighting for his life in court, didn't lash out publicly. In fact, he said something that caught people off guard, that he held no grudge against his father. To many, that sounded like growth, like he'd made peace with the situation. But the streets? They don't forget. And clearly, some folks in Ksoo's orbit weren't nearly as forgiving. Because just days ago, Abdul Robinson Sr. was ambushed in broad daylight outside a quiet neighborhood grocery store on the west side of Jacksonville. Witnesses say he was approached by two masked men who jumped out of a black SUV and immediately rushed him, fists flying. According to reports, the assailants didn't shoot. They didn't need to. They beat him so viciously that one of his ribs was fractured. His face was left swollen beyond recognition, and he was rushed to the hospital unconscious. The message was clear. This was personal. Sources close to the family say that Abdul had been trying to lay low. He'd moved out of his old neighborhood, tried to stay out of the media, and was doing his best to live a quiet life in the shadows after the firestorm of betrayal he set off. But in this game, the past always has a way of finding you. And for some people, loyalty to the code outweighs blood ties. The scariest part? Many believe this ambush was carried out not just by random street goons, but by individuals with close ties to ATK. Allegedly, former associates of Ksoo, men who once looked at Abdul as a father figure or OG, saw his cooperation as an unforgivable offense. And while Ksoo himself hasn't made any statements, the streets are whispering loud. They did that for Ksoo, one source claimed. Even if he didn't order it, people felt like they had to make it right. Let that sink in. A father cooperates with the law, hoping to reduce his own sentence and maybe save himself from dying behind bars. And in return, he gets left in a hospital bed, body broken, betrayed by the same people he likely once mentored. And what does this mean for Ksoo? The irony of it all is thick. Here's a man sitting in jail, facing life, or worse, for murders he allegedly committed as part of a violent street legacy. And now, the same crew he was once celebrated in has gone after the man who gave him life. It raises a chilling question. Does Ksoo still have influence from behind bars? Or has the machine of the street taken on a life of its own? Some insiders think Ksoo knew this was coming. Not necessarily the who or the when, but the what. The streets have a code, and once that code is violated, it's not just about what you said. It's about who you are now. In the eyes of many, Abdul isn't just a father anymore. He's a rat. And in that world, rats don't retire. They get erased. Let's go deeper for a second. This isn't just about a father and son. This is about cycles of violence, street mythology, and the tragic trap of legacy. Abdul Robinson Sr. may have tried to do right in the end, but how much of the wrong did he help create in the first place? He raised sons in the same streets he once navigated. He lived by that code once, until it no longer served him. And Ksoo, he's a symbol now, of a generation caught between clout, consequences, and confusion. His music, his charges, and now this violent act against his father. It all paints a picture of a young man both feared and idolized, betrayed and venerated, all at the same time. Now the internet is on fire. Hashtags like #FreakSo and #JusticeForAbdul are clashing in the comments. Some are blaming the father for breaking the code. Others are blaming the culture that rewards silence and punishes survival. But here's what nobody wants to say out loud. Both of them might lose. Because even if Abdul recovers, and let's hope he does, he'll never be safe again. That's the price of betrayal in this world. And Ksoo, if the courts don't bury him, the weight of everything happening around him might. Allegedly, there's now tension inside the jail system itself. Word of what happened to Abdul has reached other inmates. Some are viewing it as a sign of loyalty to the code. Others? They're quietly disgusted. This whole thing has turned into something far bigger than just a legal case. It's now a street opera. A real-life Shakespearean tragedy soaked in blood, betrayal, and broken dreams. Meanwhile, the streets of Jacksonville remain tense. ATK affiliates are reportedly laying low. Other local gangs, some of whom are beef with ATK, are laughing behind closed doors. They see this as weakness. The father of one of the most feared members getting stomped out by his own people? That's not a flex. That's a fracture, and fractures lead to collapse. There's even talk, unconfirmed but persistent, that law enforcement might be using this ambush to flip more people. Investigators know that when violence happens on this level, someone always talks. And this time, it might not be the father snitching. It could be the very people who just punish him for doing so.